Food markets only. Food markets only.
Meet Susie Smart, she is so bright. On her blackboard you can write. She has a desk, she has a seat. What's your name, my dolly sweet?
My name is Susie Smart.
She can talk!
She can talk, but can she add?
2 plus 2 is 4. Cat, C-A-T.
You can spell!
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how
You recite!
Press the button, she says a dozen things, complete with desk, blackboard, and seat. Susie Smart, sold at food markets only.
Good evening, cats and kittens, pups and peaches. It's Susie Q96, and yes, there was a reason I was blasting that music just as loud as I could. Sorry, Mr. Eller, if you think it was loud in your headphones, you should have been in the audience live. And I'll explain that in a minute. Oh my goodness. It's been a day, folks. It's always been a day around here, and y'all know that. So, oh my goodness. Let's get that out of there. I'm trying to type something here. I can't type today. But I'll get it up here in a minute. Maybe. There we go. It kind of ran off into the next message. But anyway, there's a reason for that madness. This band from Florida, they got signed and then their record got shelved, I guess. Something like that happened. But that was from a live radio show in the late 70s, band from Florida called Tight Shoes. And I can't tell you the name of the song because I get in trouble. But the initials are WTF. So, two of my best buddies were in that band. A guy named Lee Swimmer, who played in Edgar Winter's White Trash for a while. I grew up with him since about the age of 13. And another good friend of mine named Dave Feaster, who played in a different band from Florida called Fresh Squeezed. And then he went, when Henry Paul left the Outlaws, he went and played in the Henry Paul band for quite some time. And after those two guys were done doing that, they put together this band called Tight Shoes, and that's who you were listening to. Now, the reason you got to listen to them tonight is my birthday is Friday, which is March 3rd. Dave Feaster's birthday was March 4th. Oh, I should preface this by saying that both Lee and Dave have gone to the great beyond. But Dave's birthday was March 4th. Lee's was March 5th. All of us were born the same year. So we were very close in age, very close in a lot of things. And we had this little thing. We used to try to get together every year for our birthdays, if possible. Wasn't easy because they were both touring a lot. But we had this little thing we called 3, 4, 5. And all that's left right now is 3. 4 and 5 have left me. So I don't drink anymore because my drinking buddies are gone. But that's kind of why you got treated to a little bit of my buddies. That was my friend Lee doing the vocals and the two of them swapping back and forth on those killer lead guitars. So that was just part of my birthday celebration to me, because the next Monday will be after my birthday. So that's why you got something different tonight. And you're going to have something different tonight all the way down the line, because things just been real crazy over here at the cat house. Oh, hang on, I gotta get my beverage. I done lost the KD. Hey, I've had hiccups for about 2 hours now, so I don't know how long this is gonna last before I start hiccup-burping again. So Ooh, that tea is funky. Yeah, all day today I've been working on the you can't evict me for asking you to wear a mask when I'm recovering from COVID thing. Yep, N3 and his nanner. He's around somewhere. Anyway, uh, I've been studying nickels. We did a lot of quarters. Right now I can't get to the car wash, so we'll go back to the quarters. But for now, we're going to have to change the focus of the Lodo show off the quarters for a while. We did that horrible, horrible box of pennies. Just pathetic. And then I did a couple of rolls of nickels that I just went through and looked at them to see if any of them were buffaloes or anything like that. And I didn't have my nickel books out because I couldn't find my nickel books. Well, right at the last minute today, I found my nickel books. So we're going to go back through some nickels. And I made some notes. I watched a video today that was from the Heritage Auction, and it was the top 10 most valuable Jefferson nickels. Now, that is, of course, according to Heritage Auction, but it was a fairly recent video. So we do have a few to keep our eyes open for, but mostly we're just going to see if we can put some things in my albums. So, I got to find a bucket, a trash can. All right, I got the can. And I can start with that one. Oh, somebody's going to get me if I don't put a glove on. So, let me put a glove on. I've been doing paperwork all day. I do have some good news, and that is that I received two things today that, excuse me, are very good. One is an application for a place in Michigan that only has about a 4-month waiting list. So that's good. And I got the actual application from their office, so I can start filling it in. It's about 36 pages. These things to get in senior housing are unbelievably complicated. But then I got two other things. One of them I got from the USDA Rural Development people, and it's a link to an interactive map that will show me every one of their subsidized senior housing locations. So I can go to the Michigan part of it and start looking around, and I can start calling all these places and seeing if they're taking applications. So I may be able to get out of here without getting evicted in the next 3 or 4 months. And then the other thing, and I hope the office spies are watching me, because I'm going to let them know right now. 2 high upstate of Virginia offices, after hearing what you little eviction notice had to say to me, are sending me applications to file grievances because they think y'all got your head up your butt. So I'm about to turn these people real ugly, and My brother has even suggested I might want to file a civil lawsuit against them and make them help me pay to move. So we'll see how that goes. But in the interim, we're going to play with these nickels I got here. And yeah, Doug, I saw that it's still there. And I think maybe the key is that I need to post something every freaking day so they will leave my 1K alone. I hope some of you guys are actually watching some of this stuff so I can get some watch hours. I was I was attempting to play my guitar today. My arthritis is not good, so it doesn't let me play very much. But I actually was rewriting a Jimi Hendrix thing. In fact, I'm not sure if it actually belongs to Jimi Hendrix or Bob Dylan, but I'm used to the Jimi Hendrix version. But I was trying to play All Along the Watchtower, and I was singing it as All Along the Watch Hours, making up my own lyrics as I went along. So, we can hope. Alrighty, let me open up this album here. I don't think I need a 94, but we'll check it out anyway. And no, I don't need that one. And that's not one of the ones on the valuable list. So we'll Scooby it along. I did sort these. Ooh, 70S. Don't find too many S's. Oh, what this roll is the other night I did some rolls of nickels and I thought I did them all. And then I found this in the penny box. So apparently I missed a roll. And here it is. Ooh, I actually have a 70S in my book. But I'm going to set that one aside as a keeper. I think I started out with 5 rolls. No, 4 rolls. I did 2 the other night. I did 1 on another night. And then I'm doing this one. Now, the very first roll, we found this really battered up buffalo in. These were just some rolls I got at the bank. I'm pretty sure I just got 4. And this one is a buffalo that came out of there. I can't really come up with a date. It looks like somebody put some Nicodate on it and it didn't help. But we did get a buffalo. So put that with the other one. Let me go up to the top here and say hi to everybody I didn't say hi to yet. And I forced you to listen to my crazy rock and roll friends from the 70s. Furry Plants and Coins, Jimmy Thompson, Ann's Arts and Crafts, Paula Abrams, Jimmy Thompson, Lucky James, Ella, Doug Harding, Annette Esman. I think I got everybody. I think I got, oh, Mike the Greek. Gotta have Mike the Greek. And Kit. I'm glad a few of you are getting your packages. I'm still working on them. I had to stop today and take care of all of that stuff. Why am I getting standby? Am I experiencing difficulties I don't know about? Huh? What difficulties? Oh, God. Yeah, well, Mike's not really the one that does that. It's Mark Thomas that really does it. Um, Edgar does still have a band. But he has mostly, this is for James Eller who asked about Edgar Winter. He mostly has been touring with Ringo Starr and Ringo's All Star Band. Uh, I'm buffering a little. Well, pooh, it happens. Like I said, this computer's got to have some work done on it. But yeah, Edgar is still playing and he does still technically have a band, but Edgar really is a one man band. If you have ever gone to see him, he plays every instrument you could possibly imagine. And the last I saw was last year, the end of last year, he was uh, out with Ringo Starr again. So I haven't talked to Edgar, since about 6 months after Lee passed away. I had set up a reunion of the two of them when Edgar played in Orlando. And that then just a few months later, Lee passed away, and I was selling jewelry at one of the very last concerts that Johnny and Edgar Winter played together. And Edgar sent his road manager out into the vendor area to tell me that they wanted me to come backstage after I was done out there and when the show started. So when I went back there, uh, both Edgar and Johnny's band came up and gave me this incredible hug. And then I was bawling like a baby for the rest of the show that they did that. Uh, and I think I've talked to Edgar maybe once since then. I love Edgar, but I have a problem with Edgar that makes it difficult for me to talk to him sometimes. And the problem is that he belongs to the Church of Scientology, and I just cannot deal with Scientology. If I'm offending anyone, I'm sorry, but yeah. Anyway, back to the Mitchells. Yeah, Mike just sits around and looks for idiots. You don't have to look very hard either, do you, Mike? There's a lot of them around on the interweb. Okay, I need a different book now. See if I need the 2000D. This book might be full. Oh, it's almost full. It only needs anything from 22s and 23s. That book's pretty well done. Honesty shouldn't offend anybody. Yeah, well, if you look on my Facebook page, one of the things right at the top, I know where you're going to be. You're going to be in Woodlawn, and you better get a hold of me. You better. I'll be upset if you don't. Here, right at the top of my Facebook page, it says, I am brutally honest and it offends people. I don't care. I have always been that way. It has gotten me in trouble many times in my life. And oh well. There are some people that absolutely think I'm wonderful because I'm brutally honest. But no, I would be happy to talk to Edgar. I have known Edgar since my first friend that I knew played in Edgar Winter's White Trash on the album. Everybody thinks that was Rick Derringer playing lead. No, it was not. On the Edgar Winter's White Trash album, the lead player was a young man named Floyd Radford from Winter Park, Florida. And Floyd, after a time, decided he did not want to tour. Touring just wasn't for Floyd. And he approached Edgar Winter. I told him he wanted to go home and go to college. I mean, we're talking about 17, 18-year-old kids. Well, Edgar told him, if you can find me someone who can learn all these parts in 2 weeks, when my next tour starts, then you can go home. So Floyd, having played in 2 other bands with my friend Lee, comes down to Orlando, pulls my 17-year-old friend Lee out of a private school called Platt's Academy, 1 credit away from his senior year diploma, and sends him up to Edgar. So Lee played with Edgar for a while, and then Lee was a little too crazy to be out there at 17 on the road with the big time bands. And so he ended up going home, and that's when Rick Derringer, another Florida boy, jumped in there. So I know a lot about Edgar and Johnny Winter. Johnny used to use Floyd Radford's band Tin House as a backup band pretty often, actually. I'm looking for 58 here in my book. Yep, already got one. Oh, but that's a 58D. See, that's why you got to flip them over. Some of them. Make sure you got it, because I actually need that nickel. Get over here. Woohoo! We got one for the books. Yeah, I'm thinking seriously about starting another channel. I've been talking about it for a while. A music channel, but not like everybody else's music channel. I grew up in Central Florida, and I grew up with a lot of musicians. And some of them I would really like people to know more about. Ones that got ripped off by record companies, and people that you may not have ever heard of that were actually right there in your face and you didn't know it. Like the little fake band, the Archies. Anybody remember Sugar Sugar by the Archies? Well, some of those guys were actually, they were studio musicians, and they were musicians out of other bands. And some of them were Florida guys that you know nothing about. Hey, Johnson families, how y'all doing? Got that beaner around there? Okay, 86. Hey, wrong book. I don't have my desk where it usually is right now. I had to move it for this inspection that I am now in trouble for. So I'm having to check these books one at a time. It's a pain in the bouquet. Hey, Mike. So yeah, I've been working on packages. I got a couple more done today. I believe the Johnsons got theirs, and I know Bold Lion got his. I believe Annette got hers. James Ellers is floating around somewhere. I don't know if he went over and picked it up or not today, but it's out there. What am I looking at? 75. So, like I said, today I had to do a lot of paperwork. Sweetie, I don't even have Edgar's autograph. I don't ask for autographs. I just don't. Um, I have very few autographs. I had a prized, absolutely prized copy of the Outlaws' first album that was autographed to me, and it was stolen from my house. And after that, I just never really collected autographs. I Because so many people of these people are my friends, and I see sometimes how pushy and horrible people are asking them for autographs. I feel uncomfortable doing it. So unless you run across Edgar, I'm sorry, but you're not going to get it from me because I don't even have his autograph. About the only autographs I have are I have a very, very old Paul Revere and the Raiders album that the whole band autographed for me because my cousin's wife was the former girlfriend of Mark Lindsay. That's the only reason I have that one. I just don't. I do have a few autographed Outlaws things, but I can't replace that first album, which was autographed by all the original members, including my childhood friend Frank O'Keefe, who is deceased. And the only thing I have that has his autograph on it is a contract for me to work at his painting company. I just don't feel comfortable asking for autographs. I just don't do it. So sorry. I do have a couple of autographed question mark and the Mysterians items, but I work with that band and they gave me those. I did not ask for them. So that's just that's just me. I think the coolest autographed thing that I have is a drum head that it came from Robert Martinez of question mark and the Mysterians, and the entire band autographed it. That's probably my prized autographed thing, but I really just, like I said, after working with so many different musicians and seeing how people act and how people lie. Yeah, I might be able to do that, James. I'll see if I still have contact info for his tour manager. I used to have his business card, but I have just seen people lie and say, "Oh, I want this autograph for my sick girlfriend," and then go to all this trouble to get it for someone only to see it for sale on eBay. So that is kind of another one of the reasons. Oh, and I do have one other autograph. I don't know where it is exactly as far as musicians, but I have an IOU that says I owe you $20, and it's signed T.E. Petty. Figure out who that is. I can't believe I made Tom Petty sign an IOU in a bar. But I did, because I didn't think he'd pay me back. And you know what? I'm not sure he ever did. I also have a check for $10.99 that was written to me in 1971 that I never cashed. I still sew, but I used to make clothes and put them in consignment shops. And one day I stopped by this consignment shop to see if I had sold anything, because I was broke. I was broke. And a lady that ran the shop said, she said, I got some money for you. She said, you know, I don't take checks. She said, but I took a check, and I don't think there's anything wrong with this check, but I don't think you're going to want to try to cash it. And I'm like, why? You know, I need money. And she hands me this check. You know, like I said, I think it was $10.99. It's in my safety deposit box. I sold a shirt to somebody I actually did know. I knew his brother more than I knew him, but I sold a check. She took a check from Dwayne Allman. I never cashed that check. I didn't have any money that weekend, but I never cashed that check. And it wasn't too long after that Dwayne died, so I was really glad I did not cash that check. I remained friends with Greg for a while, till I think right before he married Cher. I'm still friends with his oldest son, Michael. And I think the rest of the kids in his family need to be slapped upside of their head for how badly they treat the oldest one. But that's my personal opinion. Hi, Joe Dirt. I'm not seeing much in these newer nickels. Kind of a waste to even look at them, but so anyway, I have a lot of stories like that, and that's why I'm considering starting another channel. And I have a lot of old band photos, and one of my favorite stories involves my friend Monty Yoho, who was the drummer of the Outlaws up until 2019, when his health forced him to retire. I used to have a website that talked about the Outlaws, and it was one of the early ones where you could go in and have a live chat. And we had a bunch of people in there one night, and they were all arguing over who the biggest drunk in the band was. And they were all saying, oh, it was Henry. No, it was Huey. No, it was Frank. No, it was this one. And now, bear in mind, Monty is in the room. And Monty's like, no, it was me. No, it was me. No, it was me. and nobody's believing him. And he's like, no, seriously, it was me. And somebody asked me, well, what was the drunkest thing you ever saw Monty Yoho do? And my response to that was, well, it's a toss-up. It was either the night he fell off the drum riser in the middle of the Hurry Sundown tour, playing a concert and just fell right over, or the time we found him behind a bar asleep on the railroad tracks. And Monty knows I tell these stories. He tells them himself. We quit drinking on the same day, so, and we're still friends to this day. Well, that roll of nickels stunked, just like all those pennies from the other night stunked. So, anyway, I'm now going to do something a little bit different. I'm kind of having a hard time today with focus. I know some of you know that I have a disease called IgG4-ROD, which basically is a disease that is growing inflammatory tissue around my optic nerve in my right eye and also in my brain behind my right eye. They can't operate on it or it will blind me, and it could also paralyze me. So I just kind of some days I just have to deal with it. This is the disease that I am trying to get moved to Michigan for treatment for, because there's only 3 places in the whole country that are actively researching it. You can get it in other parts of your body, but apparently the one in the eye, what they call the orbit of the eye, is the most rare. So of course that's the one I gotta get. Ooh, Ram detecting in the house. So anyway, when it starts acting up, which it has been today, it puts pressure on my optic nerve, which is very painful. Y'all don't even want to know how bad that hurts. So reading some of these coins is a little bit hard tonight, but I am going to try to read you down this list. I wish I had samples of some of these nickels, but these are the ones that I'm going to be reading you are from the top 10 from the Heritage auction as far as like sales, top 10 money coins. And so of course I don't have any of those, because this is yeah, he really is interesting, James. I got to tell you, Edgar Winter is one of the most interesting people I have ever met in my life. He is absolutely brilliant. And the night that I arranged that reunion between him and his former guitar player, we got lucky. At first, Edgar was mad. He wasn't mad at us. He was mad because his limo to leave did not show up. And they called and told him it was going to be at least 2 hours before his limo got there. And then I was able to get a friend of mine that worked at that venue to take a note back to him and tell him that we were outside. And he sent someone out to get us immediately. And so then he was happy he had the 2 hours, because he and Lee got to sit back there and visit and have a good time. And I do have a bunch of photographs of it. I will try to stick one of them up on the community part of my site so you can see it. There's several really funny pictures of me and Lee and Edgar that one of his bandmates took. So, yeah, Edgar's special. He really is. Johnny was too. I really loved Johnny. And I had tickets to go see Johnny a few years back. And I was supposed to also be in Bay City, Michigan for a presentation by the mayor of Bay City on the same day, making 96 Tears the official rock and roll song of Bay City. And I was trying to figure out, how am I going to do both of these? And God answered that one for me because Johnny passed away. And so I ended up going to Bay City instead and falling on my butt in front of the mayor of Bay City. One of my coolest posters that I have, Doug Harding, is from a concert where Question Mark and the Mysterians and Edgar Winter's White Trash played the same show. And it was the interim Edgar Winter's White Trash with my friend Lee Swimmer. So my friend Lee Swimmer actually played the same show that Question Mark played, and I have a poster for it. And that's one of my favorites. Not autographed by anybody, but it's still one of the coolest posters I have. Okay, let's go down the top 10 most valuable Jefferson nickels according to the Heritage Auction. And there's actually 11 on here because they threw in an honorable mention. Thanks, Paula. Please try and watch something. I need watch hours. All along the watch hours. Susie needs a few. Okay, honorable mention is the 1951 P. Now, one of the things you have to look at on nickels is what they call the full steps. As you can see, this is not going to qualify as full steps. All of the steps on the bottom of the building need to be intact. And you will hear that phrase periodically. Oh, I happen to grab one that is actually a Lewis and Clark, so put that up there. I think that's my S that I need to put away. Yeah. So I'm going to try to find one with some better steps so I can try to show you what I'm talking about. Come on. Hand didn't want to go in there. Yeah, see how the steps look on this newer one? They're intact. All the lines are present. If you hear someone talking about nickels and you hear FS or full steps, that's what they're talking about. The steps have to be intact. It can't be flat. So anyway, the honorable mention, 1951 P with the full steps. They said the highest ranked one by PCGS was a 67, and it sold for $16,400 several years back. Number 10 on the list is a 1964. It's from a special mint set. And that is a variety. It's not an error on this one, which is a 64 D over D RPM, which sold for $19K. I didn't write down all the years, so some of these are probably worth more now. Oh, that was actually number 9. Number 8 is another variety, and that's the 1939. They call it the Double Monte, which is short for Monticello or Monticello, depending upon how you pronounce that word where you live. Um, and it also has to have the full steps. They referred to this one as a unicorn because it's so rare. Sells for a minimum of 20K. Number 7 on the list is a 1962 with full steps. There's probably some more information on all of these. I was writing them down very quickly. Number 6 is a 1968 with full steps. Number 5 is a 1953S with the full steps, and the highest that's ever been graded is a 65. So if you find one of those, you've got a Jimmy Jim because they're really rare. Number 4 is a 1942 D over horizontal D. So one D got printed sideways, and then another D got put over top of it to correct that. And that's also, all of these pretty much are going to require that they have the full steps, or they're just not going to be it. Number 3 is a 1949 D over S. Number 2 is a 1964 from the Special Mint set. Not say they only came in that, but someone broke up some of those, so they're floating around out in the wilderness. Number 1, oddly enough, is a 1938D full step. Was sold recently. Other honorable mentions were the 39D and the 50D. So if you're hunting nickels, you might want to look for those 11 or 12 of them, because you could become very wealthy very fast. Problem is, everything's been so cherry picked that you're probably not going to find one of them. But they are out there, because one of those, and I don't remember which one they were talking about, but one of those was just sold like right around Christmas of this year for well over $35,000. Hi, Mikey. Meatloaf and mashed potatoes. That sounds pretty good. So anyway, that's our little lesson on nickels for the night. I do have a brand new box of pennies that I haven't opened anything on yet, but I am really wrapped up in getting all this paperwork done, which will probably be finished up tomorrow, and then I can try and finish up the packages. And so Wednesday I'm going to try and do a little bit different metal detecting thing. I've still got a number of videos I have not put together, so I'm going to try to get one of those done and have us a little preview for that, because I'm going to come back Friday night, and I don't usually do shows on Friday night, but Friday's my birthday, so I'm going to try and do a special on Friday night. So that's what's happening. I am going to cut it a little bit short because I'm really fighting the hiccups tonight. They gave me some new medication for heartburn and stuff, but it's not doing its job. Oh, and I got the coolest birthday card. I'm going to try to get it on camera here. It's one of those pop-up cards. Excuse me. This is why I'm going to go a little early. I'm belching, and it's not pretty, folks. Let's see if I can do this. I might have to bring the camera down to the card. I really don't want to be on camera, but it's going to need some light. This came from my brother and his wife. She got a whole bunch of these pop-up birthday cards. But this one's really cool because it's got kitties on it. M3's trying to claim it for his own. I do a very good job of this. Let me see if I can get it. I'm not doing a good job. Making everybody dizzy. Oh well, I'll see if I can figure out how to show it to you on Friday. It's really cool though. It's got all these kitties popping up all over it. It's pretty neat. And it says, hope you have a perfect birthday. And you open it up and it says happy birthday. And 1, 2, 3, 4 little kitties pop up. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So yeah, I'll see if I can't rig the camera up where it shows it by the time my birthday rolls around. Now, for my birthday, I'm going out. Of course, I'll have to be masked and everything, but we are going to Mayberry. Well, we're going to Mount Airy, which is Mayberry. Yeah. Who did Dizzy? Tommy Rowe, I think. I'm so dizzy, my head is spinning. No, Furry. This was from somebody that my sister-in-law knows down in Florida, and she sent me one last year for Valentine's Day, and I liked it so much she went back and bought a whole bunch more. And so now about every holiday I get one of these. And yeah, they're by a Florida artist, and I can't remember the name. Off the top of my head. And it's written on the back, but it's very dark and I can't read it. So I'm going to have to find the envelope it came in. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I got a Christmas one that was really awesome too. Let me see what else. Oh, last night, if any of you have not gone to see the channel of Bold Lion, I went over to Bold Lion's channel last night because he was opening his package from me. And I'll tell you what now, this guy has a singing voice. He was singing all these a cappella things, 2-3 octave range easily, and making up the lyrics as he went along. He was just singing about different people that are on his channel, and it's pretty cool. And the video is up, so you should go check out one of his streams. It's very different, and I had a really good time in there listening to him improvise lyrics and just making up melodies, because you know how I am about music. So yeah, y'all go over and that was a really nice thank you for his package that he received. So yeah, if y'all would do that, I think you'd be very entertained by his channel. And if you would please go hook yourself up with one of my playlists and get me some watch hours. Doug Harding thinks we finally have gotten YouTube to stop taking my 1K away from me. So that being said, now we've got to get the watch hours to go with it. And I'm not sure where I'm at. I'm going to go look right now. See if I can find out how many bazillion more I need. Last week I was only halfway there. So, where do I find that? Customize channel. Maybe it's there. I don't even hardly know where to look. I gave up so long ago that now I don't even really know where to look for stuff. I go and try to find those stats. Sometimes I just can't find them. Maybe under analytics. Yeah, I also watched a video today to try and we're just barely at 1K. I was up to 1,014 and now I have 1,002. So we're only at the 1K by 2 people. Okay, here we go. I need, it says I have 2,021 watch hours. So that's only half of what I need. That's the thing that is keeping us from monetization. We need to stay over 1K and we need a ton of watch hours. So that is, the reason I want to do it is so I can give away better prizes. So I can't give things away. I don't have money to give them away. So that's the deal, folks. If y'all could do that, let's see how many we can round up by my birthday. Furry says she's slacking. Yeah, I found it finally. Thank you, Mark, for doing that. Hi, Martin. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, so anyway, if y'all would do that, I would appreciate it. And I'm going to go. I know it was a short show tonight, but when my eye starts bothering me and I got the hiccups, I'm not very entertaining. Well, maybe I am. I don't know. That might be the funniest I get. All right. Well, I'm going to try to come on tomorrow. I'm going to try to come on every day this week. Either that or send M3 over with another bad short. Just to see if that helps anything. So I appreciate everybody being here. Yeah, but $14 a month. I can work with $14 a month. That's $14 more than I have now. Y'all got to remember, I'm on social insecurity. I'm an old lady. So, anyway. Humor me. Do it for me for my birthday. Maybe I can afford to pay for my dinner at Golden Corral. All right, I'm going to run, people. Thanks for listening. We're going to do some more nickels throughout the week because I found a whole box full of nickels. I don't know where they came from, but they need to go back to the bank if we're not going to be using them. So maybe tomorrow I'll pop in for an hour or so and go through some more of them. And we'll see you later. And I thank you so much for popping by. It's all groovy. Hey, Kev. So we'll see ya. Bye, everybody.